In this RoutBot CNC application video, we will see how to set the machine orientation. To set the machine orientation, we go to Setting and we click on Orientation. The machine orientation is a very important parameter. There are two orientations. There are the axis orientation and there are the motor orientation. The first thing that we would like to set is the motor orientation, and I will explain the difference between the two. The motor orientation is the direction that your CNC will move when a motor direction is issued to your stepper motor. As the axis orientation is what the position, the increment of the position will be positive when going in one direction and being negative when going in the other direction. So there's a possibility of setting those two parameters independently. This is good because it allows you to basically set the axis of your CNC machine the way you want this axis to be set. We have a little picture, and this is basically the setting of for the third angle for a typical CNC machine. But in many cases, for example, if the CAD-CAM might not be set this way, the CAD-CAM might have the x-axis going this way and the y-axis going this way. And it is much preferable to have your CNC axis set the same way your CAD-CAM is set. It makes it much easier to work and understand what's going on. But at the end of the day, you decide to set your axis orientation the way you want. Now, to set your axis orientation is quite easy. You just got to make sure the first thing that your CNC, you have set your other parameters like step per inch, so on and so forth. You need to set basic velocities. You need to set those basic parameters. You need to make sure that your CNC is able to move, or everything is powered, everything is working properly, because you're going to be moving your axis to be basically able to find out how to change this orientation to what you want. Obviously, you could change it by rewiring your stepper motor, rewiring your bipolar stepper motor, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to go and rewire the electronics. It's much easier to do it in software than to do it in hardware. So let's see how it's done. The first thing, for example, let's say we have a certain orientation, and basically we have the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. Now, basically, we have an inversion on the x and no inversion on y and no inversion on z. What that means? It means that if you go to for example, you go to move and you go to jogging, and you perform a certain motion on the positive x-axis and on the positive y-axis, and you do the same motion on the positive z-axis, you need to be able to look at your CNC and see if the axis physically move in the proper direction. Then you go back to the orientation. If, for example, the setting for the x went in the right direction, this is okay. If for the y it went in the right direction, this is also okay. But if, for example, in the z, when you move positive, let's say the z-axis, normally when you move positive, the z-axis should go up, but let's say instead of going up, it went down. That means the z-axis is going the wrong way. So what you need to do, you need to keep the minus on the x since it's okay, the plus on the y since it's okay, and then you need to make a plus on the z. So you need to look for that combination, and there's only one of them. You need to go minus, plus, and then plus. So you look for that combination, minus, plus, and plus. So you saw this is this combination over here because x was okay, y was okay, but z was wrong. So you want to go and select that. So what this will actually do, X will go in the same direction as before, which was okay. Z will go in the same, Y will go in the same direction as before, which was okay. But Z will go, instead of going down, will go up because you inverted the Z axis. So this is how you basically set your motor direction. And you got to make sure that you do that first, because your motor direction is what will make your CNC move. So you want to make sure that you set your motor direction first. The next thing you need to do is you need to set your axis direction. Your axis direction is what will give you the position when you're moving. So you need to look at your position over here. So you do the same thing. You go back to move, you go back to jogging, and you make a positive move on the x-axis. You make a positive move on the y-axis. You also make a positive move on the z-axis. And you check to see if the position actually increase on all the axes. Then you go back to your setting and orientation. And let's say, for example, the position on the x-axis increased to a positive value. That means when the CNC is moving in the positive direction, the position also increased in the positive direction, which means it's okay. Same thing for y. If the CNC, when the CNC moves in the positive y direction, your position also increase in the positive y direction. But let's say there was also a problem with the z-axis. When you're moving in the positive z direction, because we just fixed it, the actual position is going negative. You get a decrease in position. What you need to do, you need to only change the z. So you need to go to minus, plus, plus. So you look for that combination, minus, plus, plus, which is over here, and that will be your new position, your new orientation for the axis orientation. Then when you find out that all of that is okay, you apply orientation to the controller, and now your CNC will be moving in the direction you desired, because you decide how you want the x-axis, the y, and the z to move, and also a positive motion in x, y, and z will result in a positive increase in position in x, y, and z.